Imagine booking a solo trip to a country under level 4 travel advisory, one that the world considers too dangerous to visit. Well, that's exactly what I did. And today I'm sharing why I traveled to Ukraine during war for a rock concert. I'm Rochelle. Welcome to Epic Destiny and to my podcast, Travel, Truth, and Transformation. You'll learn my motivation, challenges I face, and what I've learned from this experience. Leading up to my choice of going to Ukraine was heavily influenced by my awakening. Learning Ukrainian through learning Ukrainian rock music was a fuel to my fire of going to Ukraine. I looked up rock music in Ukrainian so I can learn Ukrainian, and I found Okin Elzy. The first song I heard was In This Moment, and the way he used like this plucking guitar, classical rock kind of combination drew my attention, reminded me of my mom. She played classical guitar, and the way she plucked it, and the way he plucked that song, remind me, brought back memories. And then every song I heard after that, the lyrics, the music, the talent drew me in. I love Okinelzi. I felt complete and whole again after listening to their music. And when I heard they canceled their concert due to war and then was going to have a concert anyway, and it's their 30th anniversary, I knew I had to go. It would be amazing to share that experience with Ukrainians and him in his own country singing in his language is what I really wanted. He came out with an English album, but it's good, but I love him speaking in Ukrainian. I feel more of a connection with him than when he speaks in English. And it's funny because I don't know Ukrainian, but I'm learning. So I'm so grateful for him sharing his talent. And from what it looks like, he does a lot for his country. I've donated to charities he's sponsored, and I think it's cool, no matter what other people think, that he enlisted in the army and they told him to go sing. And it's very interesting. I can't think of a rock group in the US that if we were an invasion, would they sign up? I don't know. I don't think so. I could be wrong. So, leading up to my decision to go to Ukraine was heavily influenced by my awakening. This intuition was like a magnet pulling me towards this country. My mind didn't want to go, and my heart said I had to. And so I decided if I was able to get a ticket, that would be a sign for me to go. So the tickets were released, and I clicked on them, and they were sold out. And I thought, you know what? That's a good thing. Even though I was let down, my mind was like, you don't have to go. You don't have to risk your life. You don't have to go. My heart was crushed and said, oh, no, no, no. You have to go. This is where you go. And my mind was like, nah, that's not true. And my heart was like, oh, yeah. And so they released tickets 2 weeks later, and I tried again, and it took a couple hours. And somehow I clicked on two tickets next to each other, and there were seats. I didn't know about the GA. I was kind of iffy on that because general admission tickets at a rock concert, I don't know if you've been to one, you have to get up there and wait really early and hope that you are like the first one in so you can be the closest to the stage, and you're competing with hundreds of people that pay a little bit less than a seat in hopes that you get so close to the artist. And I wasn't sure how this worked in a different country. I know that like YouTube YouTube you know, you and a two Bono, you know what I mean. If they were performing in the US, which they have, you'd wait in line overnight. I did it, I know. That's how I got to Arizona. Anyway, I have a lot of stories apparently. I love rock, and it influences obviously where I go. So, it's not surprising to me that I ended up following a rock group to Ukraine, but anyone that knows me thinks this is crazy. So, but here's my story. And then I got the tickets, and then I had to go over a lot of hurdles. I had to go and save enough money to leave, and at this point, I had like $4,000. I needed 10. And I was working at Walmart, and I knew I had to quit because they're not going to give me a month off, and I knew I needed to be there at least a month because this is my dream, and I don't know how it takes a long time to get into Ukraine because of the war and a long time to get out, and I didn't want to go there for a week. And I was willing to sacrifice this job for my dream of finally getting out of the country and experiencing what I dreamed about since I was 3. I really dreamed about this when I was 3. I'm not, it sounds crazy, but I truly have. So I lost my train of thought because I was thirsty. My podcast and my YouTube is so amateur at this point. But you take swings and you just try, and you reach people, you don't. It's life. And I just want to share my story because I feel like it's inspiring. And I knew that going to Ukraine under a level 4 advisory of do not travel was risky, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to go. And I had to get a real ID, and I had to get a passport. Now, this doesn't sound like hard to do for normal people, but let me remind you, I've been homeless for 10 years. I've been unable to get a credit card for 20 years. I've had multiple fraud and scams for more than a decade. I've lost thousands and thousands of dollars. It's why I excuse me, decided to end it all. I don't know if you catch my last podcast, but enlightenment saved my life. And it saved my life again. It felt like it was forcing me to go to Ukraine, but inspired is the right words. And then just this magnet force from my heart, just, I had to go. I had no other option. I had to go. And I knew I was going to get stuck there. You think if you felt like you had to go and you're going to get stuck there, you wouldn't want to go. My mind didn't really want to go, but my heart knew I had to go, and it knew I was going to get stuck there. It's like it told me, "Hey, you have to go, and by the way, you're going to get stuck there." And my mind's like, that's the reason not to go. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to you again, you know. And this is where I sound a little cuckoo, but you know what? We are not our minds, and I don't care what you think at this point. It's hard to grasp. I understand. I have a difficulty of this myself, but once you can focus on current, like the now, the present moment, your breath, slowing down, fear dissolves, your essence rises. This is this is everything. You're complete. And what travel does for you, it gets you out of the rat race. It gets you to a point to where you can slow down. It gets you to where you can breathe. And if you can get out of the 9 to 5, out of the rat race for a moment, and go into an inner journey while you're experiencing an outer journey, and slow down, the value you get out of this is priceless. And this is why I created this channel. I want to help other people, other women who may be in my boat. You don't have to be enlightened. You just have to be inspired and willing to at least meditate. At least, and meditation is very simple. It's just watching your thoughts, watching your breath. Slow down. Stop scrolling. I like to say breathe and be. Anyway, so back to my story. I know. I went on a tangent. My bad. If you're with me at this mark, put a comment down below. Let me know what you think so far. Are you inspired? Or am I just crazy? Anyway, preparing for this trip, I needed safety measures. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it was not easy. First of all, I'm going to a level 4 of do not travel. My country's telling me not to go. The world is telling me there's a war and not to go. And yet my heart is saying, you have to go. And so I want to be safe because I'm going to listen to my intuition because it's so overwhelming at this point. I feel like I have no choice. This story gets crazier, trust me. So I go ahead. I have to get war insurance. I have to get a will done just to enter in this country. In case, the end happens and you think this would be a deterrent? Like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make a will. I don't want to make. I don't want death insurance. I don't want war insurance. What is war insurance if it's not death insurance? Come on. And the only country that you can buy this from is Ukraine. No one is supporting travel at this point, unfortunately. Well, it's the because of war. I mean, it's all very, very sad. But so I decided I'm going to pack light. That was one tip. And I loved the idea of only having one carry on. And I decided I want to pack enough in case I get stuck there because I knew I was going to get stuck there. And I came across this YouTube lady, and she has a husband that's a pilot, and she's gone several places with just a carry on. She had great tips to pack 2 pairs of shoes. You wear the bulky one, you bring another one, and then I brought little flip flops. So I brought 3 pairs of shoes. I brought 2 boots. I never even wore the other boots, but I brought them. I'm just telling you what I brought. And then I was wearing the bulky ones, and then I brought 2 jackets, a hat, a swimming suit in case I don't know. I brought that because I knew that there was a possibility that I wasn't going to come back to where I was leaving, and I wanted my swimming suit. So I'm bringing everything that I knew that I could keep. So, and should be another reason I shouldn't want to go. Like, I knew I was leaving and unable to return. And I was fine with that. I was fine, 100%. I just accepted I needed to go, and I'm going to make it happen. So then I packed 5 shirts that are interchangeable in color. I had picked a color palette. I brought even 2 dresses. I rolled them up really small, and I brought a hidden bra because they were kind of revealing, and I was really thin, and I was like, finally it was thin. I was so excited. I wanted to like show off. I didn't care. And I didn't end up wearing any of that. Probably a good thing. I'm funny. I brought it because I wanted it, and I bought it, and knowing I may not come back. So I don't regret. For me, I don't regret bringing it, but hindsight, if I knew I was going to come back, I wouldn't have brought it. But that's what happened. And then I brought a belt, and then this crossbody bag. It sounds, I guess, because I went to Ukraine, it doesn't sound right. Crossbody bag. I'm sorry. I'm tired, and it's funny to me. And you don't know this, but I've shot this so many times, and you're gonna have to forgive me if I don't look like I'm looking in the camera, because I tried flipping this phone around, and that way I do look like I'm looking in the camera, but the problem is half of me is like chopped off, or you don't even see the full me. And anyway, I'm on a tangent, and I know this is a podcast, and you probably dropped off at this point, but we're gonna go back on track because this is what I'm gonna do. And if you're with me still, I know you're really into my channel at this point, and thank you. But here we go. We're going to cover all the basics here. So, balancing fear and excitement. Well, my mind was like rampant, like, oh, I'm going to die on the bus, I'm going to die in the concert, I'm going to die in the building, I'm going to die walking down the street, I'm going to just die no matter what I do. I'm freaking in war, you know? And then I find these YouTubers that are in it, and Johnny D living in it, and I don't know. He made me feel a little better, like saying, it's like being struck by lightning. Uh, it is kind of like that, I agree with that now that I've been there. But before that, and he's kind of like, it's kind of dangerous, like riding, I don't know, like going off-roading, something bad could happen. You're upping your chances, but you may be alright overall, I'm definitely not encouraging to travel there. I really don't want that to be the message. I'm just explaining to you my thoughts and my feelings and how come I went there. So, after I learned first aid, because that was a tip, I brought a tourniquet because that was a tip. Think about it, a tourniquet. Yeah, I had to learn how to use that. I have to just hold on if you're watching me. Oh, my buns, man. It's because I tried so many times on this video, and I don't know. I'll get better at it, I'm sure. And then, so my friends and my family were super against it. My kids were crying and telling me not to go, begging. The day I was leaving, my daughter, and this really stuck in my mind, begging me, please don't go. Just don't do it. Don't. And it did give me second thoughts. But uh, my intuition just told me I had to go. And I did. And then my first impressions when I got there, after the speeding bus ride to Kiev, I'll never forget because I watched that movie Speed and now I lived it. I swear that bus going to Kiev was the fastest bus I've ever been in my whole entire life. And I've been in a lot of buses. I've been in a bus going to San Francisco. I've been in a bus when I was in college. I've been in a bus when I was in high school. I've been in a bus when I was in elementary school. Like, I'm boring you. I've been in public buses for a long time too. None of them went this fast. This was, I swear the bus couldn't go any faster than it did. I swear it was dodging. Look, it's in war. I don't know what it's doing. We're going fast as hell to get to Kiev. And I'm thinking, at that point, what the hell did I choose? This is crazy. I finally get to Kiev, finally get to the bus station. I'm so tired. I sit there, and I sit there for a while. And then I get up, and I decide, I memorized how to get from the bus station to my Airbnb because I didn't know about the SIM card, and I didn't know about downloading Google Maps and using offline. Okay, so whatever. And I didn't want to pay for a taxi because I wanted to experience every inch of this country because regardless of the war, I am living my dream since I was 3 of visiting another country. And this was my experience. This is my chance. This is what I wanted to do. This was amazing. I defeated all the odds. I got my passport when my birth certificate wasn't my last name. I passed all these barriers. I earned enough money. I'm homeless and I still got there. This is impressive to myself. I mean, I think about it and I'm like, wow, I wanted to just keep doing it and I planned on doing it, but I'll explain what happened, I guess. But this is getting pretty long. Uh, we're going to try to wrap up this topic. But so the atmosphere of the people were normal, honestly, and I was expecting them to be stressed and rude, but they weren't, and that's surprising. The lady on the bus was super nice and shared her meal with me, and I usually don't like sharing meals, but I did because I'm in another country and I don't want to be rude. And then it was very sweet, very sweet. Everyone was always. I've had a few, like an employee in the grocery store, and then someone walking by me in the snow was kind of agitated towards me. But no, I was there for 70 days, and those were 2 people out of hundreds and hundreds of people I've come across. So you can't tell me that Ukrainians are rude. They're not rude. They're very nice, and they're happy to see a Westerner there and acknowledge that they are still, from our point of view, that we acknowledge them, that being existent, and just I want my channel to view it in a positive manner, despite their invasion, and I hope that comes across. If you're interested in the war, I do follow the war. Um, I'm just not going to be one of those YouTubers that are going to be focusing on that. And sorry to disappoint you. Sorry, but I'm not sorry because Ukrainian people saved my life mentally, and then when I got there, physically. And if I could afford to, I'd be in the army right now. I'm not kidding. I owe them that, at least. If I make enough money, I would go. Why not? That's what they deserve. A life for life. Anyway, so getting to the concert was just the most amazing feelings. Like, I couldn't believe that I walked literally from the bus station to my apartment. Um, the Airbnb guy was super nice and spoke English, and I knew that view when I was booking it that he spoke English, and he did. And a lot of people didn't speak any English, so if you do go to Ukraine, try to learn Russian and Ukrainian. They're mostly trying to focus on Ukrainian language, but there are people that speak Russian. English isn't going to save your ass if you go to Ukraine. Although I heard some people uh, running down the street speaking English, so that was kind of funny. Anyway, you'd think that going in, if you ever like been away from your home too long and felt like this feeling of missing your place, I never felt that. I never felt disconnected. I felt more connected. I felt like I was one with them. I felt like I was home. I could literally walk the streets with no name and get back to my hotel. And I met wonderful people. The dentist, I'll never forget him. He was so sweet. Worked so hard to fix my mouth. He was surprised at how bad it was. I'm sorry, it's funny. our our US's. Anyway, it's funny. Yeah, but being in the concert, I ended up buying more tickets and getting GA and getting there in time and experiencing very friendly, talkative locals. But the last concert was exactly what I wanted to experience. It's gonna sound bad, but it was what crossed my mind when I first heard about them performing in a concert. I mean, in war, is air alerts going off and them singing, and they're all gathered together in resistance, and experiencing that with them. And that happened. I'm actually in Oking Elsie's music video. You can't see me, but it's funny because the guy like was standing so close to me, like there was no space between us. But it's funny, and I like the fact that I'm not seeing, but I was there watching it be filmed. I think that's exciting. Same thing happened to me in Free Tibetan concert. I was there watching it get filmed, and I'm not seen in that one. And I think that's cool too. But this one seems cooler because it's literally in war. I'm sorry, but it's not funny. The war's not funny. It's funny that I went and it saved my life. I mean, it's not the kind of humorous funny. It's ironic. It's amazing. It's powerful. It's magical. It's inspiring. It inspires me to keep going. It inspires me to not give up. I had a dream of being a travel vlogger, and I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be easy, you know. I'm just gonna flip on this camera," and I still can't figure out how to look in the camera. I spent hours today, and you're gonna look at me going, "What am I looking at? Look across